Hello, this is Ellen Misciattelli Bernardini. I, with my husband, am one of the owners of Palazzo Misciattelli. And today we'll be talking about the beautiful property we have here in Orvieto. So we'll talk about a little bit about the Palazzo, we'll talk about why Orvieto, and we'll talk about the experiences that the guests have when they're here. So first of all, where are we? We're in the very center of Italy in Umbria, which is evidence there in red. We're in Orvieto, which is towards the Tuscany side of the Umbrian border. It's about halfway between Rome and Florence on the main train and autostrada road. And so it's very easy, very convenient to get here from any of the airports. Within Orvieto, the Palazzo is in the very heart of the historic center. A very short walk to the cathedral, the Duomo, as well as 75 different restaurants and cafes, 100 shops, and 11 major historical sites. It's a very flat hilltop, so it makes it easy to walk, and you never have need for a taxi or a bus or an Uber or anything like that. So who are we? Again, Arrigo is my husband. He grew up here in the Palazzo. Comes from a family going back about 1,000 years. And I am half Italian, and I was a virtuoso travel advisor for about 6 years. So I'm very aware of what is sought on the virtuoso and other high-level travel markets. I wanted just to start out with mentioning some of the things that our guests say. So these are some of the quotes from recent guests. This was the most magical place we have ever stayed. Truly the best trip we've ever taken. The accommodations were stunning, and you can see some of them behind me, but we were blown away by the staff. Your staff is second to none. The staff treated us like royalty. We felt like family. We were spoiled. We were sad to leave. So this is what our guests are saying to us, writing in our guest book and writing on our Google reviews. So let's just take a moment to talk about Orvieto, and then we'll spend more time on the Palazzo. And here you can see a couple walking. They've just left the Palazzo and they're walking on the 5K path around Orvieto. Orvieto is a bustling hill town. So it has 11 important cultural sites. Again, we mentioned lots of restaurants, lots of shops and so forth. Here's a list of all the things you can do. It's not just the Duomo, but there's a papal palace. There's the tower Torre del Moro. There's the entire underground city. We have 5 museums, 3 traditional and 2 UNESCO water museums. And of course, the Etruscan temple and the tomb. So things to keep a guest busy for several days. Let's talk about Palazzo Misciattelli. So it's a 4-story aristocratic palazzo with a history going back 3,000 years. And why 3,000 years? Well, in our underground cantinas and grottos, we have remnants of Etruscan activity and so forth. So very, very old. And then it expanded through medieval and Renaissance times until you see here the rear facade as it is today. Okay, the accommodation. So 11,000 square feet, a very limited number of guests. So maximum 11 guests. Creates an atmosphere of privacy, a lot of space, and a lot of exclusivity. We have 3 separate residences. So by residence, I mean they have their own residential living while at the same time having resort services, concierge, valet, and so forth. Each residence has its own 1 or 2 bedrooms with ensuite bath, as well as in residence, private kitchen, living, dining, and laundry areas. I want to show you some photos of the residences now. So actually the one that I'm in at the moment, this is Aldegonda. Every residence though has gorgeous views from every window. So views over the rooftops, views into the countryside. Again, this is where I am right now. Really lavish luxury bedding, spacious baths. And then this is a different residence we're looking at here. This is the Oza 1-bedroom luxury residence. So very spacious, and guests can really just unwind and relax. We also have a 2-bedroom residence, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And then on the main floor of the Palazzo downstairs, these are the historic salons. This is where we welcome guests. This is where they spend maybe a little time during the breakfast hours or on a rainy day in front of the fireplace. And it really gives them that sense of ancient palazzo, whereas they're staying upstairs in all the more fresh modern spaces, and then they still have the feeling of history and ancient family that's been here when they go downstairs. We also have our own private gardens just behind the rear facade. So really relaxing. Guests love going out there. Very quiet, even though we're in the center of town. Let's talk about more property features. So we have an elevator from the ground floor up to the residences. We have a gym with techno gym equipment. Of course, concierge and valet service, sauna, jacuzzi, those 3,000-year-old grottos. And then we have a fabulous roof terrace for aperitivos. I'm going to show you. This is a view of a sunset that we took, I think it was a few months ago. So glorious opportunities for sunset aperitivos, but also here's a daytime view of the roof terrace, a great place to relax and have some nice fresh air. Laundry, as we mentioned, every residence has its own private laundry. We, of course, offer laundry services done by the staff, but to be honest, most of our guests like doing their own laundry and they use their own washing machine and dryer here in the residences. Sustainability and accessibility, just briefly, we do strive to be as sustainable as possible. We try to be as plastic free as possible. So no plastic water bottles, no plastic room keys anywhere on property. And we have many procedures for energy and water efficiency in place. We also strive to be accessible. So one residence in particular, actually the one I'm in right now, is accessible for either older people or persons with disabilities, wider doors, easier access, shower, appropriate countertop heights, and so forth. The guest experience, I just want to talk about that for a moment. So every guest is personally welcomed, not only by the Palazzo staff, but also by a member of the Misciattelli family. So it really gives the guest this sense of being personally and privately taken into this home that's been with the family for many generations. They have this exclusive feel of entering a private palazzo. So the palazzo is only open to overnight guests. And because we have fewer guests on property than most properties, it means that each guest really feels spoiled and whatever they want, the staff is there to attend to their needs. We have, of course, the lovely extra services such as turn down. And I think one of the things that guests love the most is having this home base so that they can go into town, do all the shopping and the eating and the exploring and the culture activities, and then come back to what they consider their home for a few days. Okay, amenities. Of course, we have the top amenities: Ortigia bath products, Frette bath towels, hand-sewn Egyptian cotton sheets, salon quality hair dryers, luxury mattresses. And I mention the mattresses because I can't tell you how many people will tell us, I slept so well for the first time in a week. And so they really, really love the quality of the bedding. I wanted to just mention what distinguishes us. So again, we talked about guests are welcomed personally by the family of the Marchese. Only overnight guests can enter, so very special ambiance. We also have the bespoke concierge service to create the tailored experiences, and guests can walk everywhere. They're not isolated in the countryside. It's an authentic city location here in Orvieto, not overly touristed. Let's talk now about the experiences that our guests have. And here we see a couple that's overlooking a view of Orvieto. They've gone on an excursion for the day and they're looking across the valley at the city of Orvieto, which is really an incredible view. So we have three categories. One is food and wine. The other is active, biking, hiking, and walking. And then the last is cultural. So let's start with food. So cooking classes are extremely popular. They happen right here in the Palazzo. It can be as simple as an hour making pasta to a 3-hour chef-led multiple course formal dinner. So really it's tailored to whatever the guest would like to do, depending on their time constraints and also their interest level. Also in the food category, we put the Olive Grove Safari, which is very popular, very fun. Here we see a couple walking in the Olive Grove towards the castle that's next to our Olive Grove. We can do a seated lunch in the Olive Grove, or we can do something as simple as a picnic, which clients love as well. And that's just a 15-minute drive from the Palazzo. We, of course, have truffle experiences. So we own our own private white truffle forest reserve. It's been in the family for centuries, and we can take clients there with the hunter and his dogs, and they go find the white truffles. We can also arrange black truffle hunting experiences with a lunch and wine after. So lots of options. And those are about 20 minutes from the Palazzo on our historic family property. In town, we offer a food walking tour so that the guests are escorted to all the fantastic little boutique food shops, whether it's pizzas or cheeses or pastries or gelato and an aperitivo. Really, really fun. And clients really love that a lot. Wine experiences, wine tastings are, of course, extremely requested. So there are many ways to do wine experiences, either directly here in the Palazzo or an excursion to a winery in the countryside. We can also arrange wine tastings here in town at some of the wine shops and bars where you can taste multiple different types of wines from different wineries. So many options, and they're all very popular. Art and Aperitivo, 2-minute walk from the Palazzo. There is a ceramic studio where you can mold and paint ceramics, accompanied by this fabulous spread of food that they prepare. And then moving to active experiences. So again, we see the couple walking on the 5K path, but either walking, hiking, biking past fortresses, olive groves. In addition to those activities, we can also arrange horseback riding about 5 minutes from Orvieto, boating, water skiing. So it's easy to get in lots of activity while you're here in Orvieto. Shopping experiences in town, we count that as an active activity. Again, I mentioned we have 100 different shops of all types. So leather, ceramics, linens, clothing. Here we see someone who's shopping at a made in Italy store, beautiful Italian clothing. Also kitchen shops, things like handmade kitchen knives. So really a plethora of options as far as shopping goes. And then day trips. So within a 20 to 30 minute drive, we have several options. I can mention here Bolsena, which is a lovely lake town with a castle, has great water sports. It's the largest volcanic lake in Europe, spring fed, so it's always clean, clear water. Great for lunch on the lake. And then we have Civita di Bagnoregio, also known as the Dying City, extremely famous. It has been in the American press and the British press several times. And then pictured here is Torre Alfina Castle and Village, which is really adorable and a fun excursion for a day. So that's Palazzo Misciattelli. We look forward to hearing from you, and we know that it will be also one of your most magical trips. Thank you.